all across America and around the world. This is Veterans Radio. This is Veterans Radio.
Welcome to Veterans Radio. I am Jim Fossone. I'm the officer of the deck today. We've got some great programs for you. I think you'll find very interesting. We always want to remind you can find more about Veterans Radio at its Facebook site or by going to veteransradio.net, where we're on the web 24/7. You can find a lot of our podcasts there as well. We post new ones every Tuesday, so you can get a new story, a new interview, something you didn't know before by going to veteransradio.net. And before we get started, we want to thank our sponsors. First up, we want to thank National Veteran Business Development Council, nvbdc.org. It was established to certify both service-disabled and veteran-owned businesses. You'll find out how they can help your business by going to nvbdc.org. We want to thank Legal Help for Veterans. Legal Help for Veterans fights for veterans' disability rights all across the nation. You can reach them at 800-693-4800 or on the web at legalhelpforveterans.com. We also want to thank our latest national sponsor, Veteran Lending Council. It is a community dedicated to educating lenders, realtors, and veterans on the VA Home Loan Benefit Program. You can check them out on Facebook and other social media outlets. We want to welcome to Veterans Radio today Senior Chief Petty Officer Rob O'Neill. Rob, welcome to Veterans Radio.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, it's always great to talk to a Navy SEAL. You've had a fantastic career, about 16 years in the service. You were on SEAL Team 2, 4, and 6 and experienced some of the most, kind of noteworthy events for SEAL teams during that period, including the rescue of Marcus Luttrell effort, the Maersk, Alabama hijacking which has been captured in film, and you are credited with killing Osama bin Laden. But we have you on to talk about a book that you and your friend Dakota Meyer have just issued, The Way Forward, Master Life's Toughest Battles and Create Your Lasting Legacy. Tell us about the inspiration to write this, if you will, Rob.
Well, it was about a guy from Montana who couldn't swim, who became a Navy SEAL, ended up in Osama bin Laden's bedroom, and a male cheerleader who ended up being one of the Medal of Honor as a Marine in Ganjgal Valley. And just what do we do now? Because it's more of life happens around you as you're making a plan. And when you make a plan, God laughs at you because you're going to do something else. And what we kind of figured out is it doesn't matter what you look like or where you're from. You can do anything you want as long as you keep moving forward. All we have in common is time. Time keeps ticking, and it's going to keep going. And that's what we call it. The way forward is what next. I mean, we met each other just because we're both speakers, trying to figure out what we're going to do next. And that's basically it. And Dakota's a wonderful, wonderful guy, a great story, great family man. And we kind of hit it off. And it's like, you can join the military at 18 years old and retire after 20 years at 38 years old. You got a lot of life left. And it's everything from what do we do now to what are we worried about now? Why are we worried? And one of my new favorite sayings is, today is the tomorrow that you were worried about yesterday. Stop worrying.
Yeah, exactly.
You're fine. You're going to be just fine. That's it. I mean, it's that simple. Keep it simple, master the basics. That's it.
Well, let me set this up for our veteran radio listeners, and we're talking to Rob O'Neill, former SEAL, who wrote with Dakota Meyer, and that name's ringing a bell for people going, yeah, did he get the Medal of Honor? Rob writes a chapter, and then Dakota writes a chapter, and
Yes.
they ping pong this back and forth through life, starting with their family, starting with getting into the military, kind of the mentors that they had, the problems that they had. I'm sure Dakota loves that you start with referring to him as a former cheerleader. If I get to talk to him, we'll get some juice on you too. So,
well, you know what's awesome about that though is even in the book, if you'll read it, because the reason he started cheerleading was because he was kind of making fun of the cheerleaders. And they said, "Why don't you come to practice with me?" And he did. And cheerleaders, they're busting their tails out there doing all the stuff. And he started to get made fun of. And he said, "Yeah, you might be making fun of me, but my hand's on your girlfriend's butt."
Exactly. So this book ping pongs back through, as they say, pre-military, the military career, and sort of these life lessons afterwards. And it's a really good read, Rob. You guys did a great job on this.
Thank you.
And I want to pull out some of those life lessons that you talk about. As I said, it'd be easy to talk the whole interview here about your adventures as a Navy SEAL, but you've learned some things along the way, and one of those is about what it takes to master certain skills. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? Because I think people think you just arrive fully developed with these skill sets.
No, it's simply mastering the basics. Do everything like you do anything, and keep it simple. Your next goal in life is your next step in life. And I've had people say, "Well, I want to be a Marine or I want to be a Navy SEAL, but I'm not good at pull-ups. How do I get better at pull-ups?" I'm like, "Well, it's simple. You do pull-ups. It's that simple. Do more pull-ups." And it's just keep everything as simple as you can. I was actually I was in Texas, and I had a buddy of mine. I was at one of his events, and his son, who was 14, he said, if you could give 14-year-old Rob O'Neill some advice on life, what would it be? And I told him, you know what it would be? Ask her out. Whoever she is, ask her out. And that just kind of comes back to just take the shot. Take it. Because someone else is afraid to. Why don't you be that dude? Take the shot. Ask her out. And that's how simple it is. What's right in front of you? That's why one of my shirts that I made is as veterans will know, the front of a Claymore mine says "front toward enemy," and that's it. That's what
you really have to know. Yeah, that's what you really have to know.
And keep it simple. So whoever invented the Claymore put "front toward enemy," and on the back they put the word "back." That's life. Well, the back goes that way, the front goes this way. Keep it simple.
One of the things that you've talked about in the book on mastering skills is that it's hard work and it's grinding repetition. And I think too many people today in this maybe a society of instant gratification thinks, well, it should just come to me, but it doesn't, does it?
No, it's not going to just come to you, and it's everything's not that simple, but it is that simple. And if you want to do well, if you want to be good at something, do it 1,000 times. You want to be great, do it 10,000 times, over and over, repetition, training, communication, repetition. Make sure your people know what they're doing and why they're doing it, and then do it again. And just the realization that everything, I think that this might be good to write this down. Everything is simple, but it's not easy. If that makes any sense.
Absolutely.
Do it again. And it looks like shooting free throws. Do it again.
So that's a lesson you learned. That's a lesson you learned early on as a basketball player and your dad. Tell us a little bit about how that kind of early on lesson, rippled through the rest of your military career even.
Well, we would shoot jump shots and free throws, and every single day that we would play basketball, no one can leave the gym until one of us makes 20 free throws in a row. And that's it. And if we played basketball for 2-3 hours, we still need to go to the free throw line, and one of us needs to make 20 free throws in a row before we leave the gym. And that could take another 2-3 hours. I mean, it could take 30 seconds. It could take another 3 hours, but someone needs to make it. And then we actually would treat ourselves. There's a steakhouse called the Derby in Butte, Montana, that a friend of mine actually owns. And if we made 20, when our season started, when I was like a freshman or sophomore, it was 20 free throws to leave the gym, but 20 free throws to go to the Derby for a steak. But then it was still 20 to leave the gym, but then 25 to get a Derby, then 30, then 35, 40. And we would go up by increments of 5. And we got to a point where my father, I think, made 91 free throws in a row one day. And that was a family record till I made 105 the next week. And it's just keeping your goal. Okay, we got to make 20 to leave the gym, but 25 when we get a tenderloin. That's it. And that's, again, keeping it simple. Don't make life complex.
One of the other pieces of advice that I wrote down as I read through The Way Forward by Rob O'Neill, who we're talking to, and his co-writer here, Dakota Meyer, was this idea that the role of mentors, and both of you in different chapters talk about the importance of mentors. Probably didn't even know what the hell the word meant at the time these guys were being your mentor, but talk a little bit about that, the importance of a mentor.
Well, I mean, it's just someone that you look up to, someone that's doing something that you want to do, someone that's great, that doesn't realize they're great, and they don't realize they're great, but you're looking at them. And for me, it was my dad, and it was everything from hunting antelope to free throws to fly fishing to elk hunting to whatever else. And then he was the guy that started looking up to me just for stuff that I did. And he was, I mean, it's funny to watch the roles reverse where he always thought that I was he always thought I was the guy that was doing everything. There was something in Life magazine where there were Navy SEAL students tied up, and he said, "I can tell that's you." There were pictures in Life magazine. "I can tell that's you right there. It's got to be you." And I'm like, "Dad, I haven't left for the Navy yet. That's definitely not me." He was very excited to be there, and I always told him, and I would tell my mother, "Don't be nervous. I'm here to do something special." And I would tell them, I would lie to them when I'm in Iraq or Afghanistan or Pakistan. Don't be nervous. I'm here to do something special. And the night after my team killed Osama bin Laden, I remember calling both of them and said, "Hey, by the way, you can start worrying because that special thing, I think we just did it."
Well, sometimes you have to lie to the loved ones just to protect them, and I think there's
lie to them just to keep, look. And one of the things two things that I say to people, this is great advice. If you're worried about something right now that your worry will not change, stop wasting your energy. Stop worrying. Get your mind off it. It's not going to help. And the other thing I say to people, and this is great advice too, it doesn't matter why we're here. We're just here. And I tell football teams, it doesn't matter why it's 2nd and 15, guys. It just is. Get over it. The clock is ticking. Let's go. And that's it. So my parents worrying about me getting shot down by a missile is not going to stop the missile. So just stop worrying about it. That's it. Stop wasting your energy.
A related piece of advice here, and again, we're talking to Rob O'Neill, who received 2 Silver Stars and 4 Bronze Stars and a variety of other devices and unit citations and commendation medals, which you don't get unless, there's a lot of chaos going on and you do something in that chaos. Yes. But your advice was really, and this is true in life, I think, about staying calm and avoiding panic. Can you talk to us a little bit about that as sort of a lesson you learned over time?
Yes. Your next goal is your next breath. And I have videos of, we call it basic underwater demolition SEAL training, BUDS. I have videos of BUDS instructors destroying students underwater, be it with compressed air or with just knot tying or just tumbling you around. There's so much going on in your mind, but your next goal in life is your next breath, your next step. So when the chaos comes, stand, even if you're like at a boardroom or a family dinner at Thanksgiving and we disagree on politics, when you feel yourself getting stressed out, stand up, take a step back, and take your next breath. Calm down, and then move on. And that's it. And that's also, again, simplicity makes life better. Keep it simple. We have an acronym, KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. And stupid is me. Stupid is you. Stupid is someone. Stupid is you. And just keep it simple, stupid, so we don't paralysis through analysis. Stop overthinking everything. Life is simple. My wife works in the power line industry, and her employees are the ones that get up on, I mean, here's how simple this is. They're the ones that get up on the power lines and give us electricity. And we don't realize that electricity is there because it's so every day. But these are the guys that get up there. And I tell them, don't die because you got bored. These are the guys that get up there. Once you get up there, always follow your rules. If you forget your safety gloves, but you need to go over to that transformer and it's just a quarter turn, but it's 25 minutes to get down the pole, 30 minutes to get back up, I'll just do a quarter turn. No. Go down there, follow your rules, keep it simple. Because people die because they get bored. If you go on a job site, you'll see that when there's a fatality, there's a big sign up that says 400 safe or incident-free days, because someone got bored. Complacency kills, and complacency is caused by success. Too much success, and people have a tendency to say the same thing. This is the way we've always done it. Don't do that. Don't rest on your laurels. Keep it simple. One step forward. Keep it simple, stupid. And that's reminding myself that I'm stupid. That's it.
Well, one of the things, too, that you just sort of talked about is on people get bored by success. But success also has a downside and some additional downsides to it that you've experienced. And that sort of deals with the whole price of fame, right? The controversy about who really killed Osama bin Laden and all the crap that gets thrown at you because of that issue. How have you dealt with, and I know Dakota Meyer, your co-writer here on The Way Forward, has really had to deal with the price of fame as well. Talk a little bit about that. While most of us will never be famous, there are folks who are jealous about everybody on everything, right? This translates beyond price of fame, but applies to those who say, well, my brother-in-law is jealous, I got a new car. How do you deal with that?
The first thing you got to do is stop. Well, the first thing you got to do is stop caring. I don't care. Like, I've had everyone hit me up with from, you didn't kill bin Laden, or bin Laden's not even dead, or he died, whatever. You got to stop caring, because at some point, if you know that you have the truth on your side, there's nothing to worry about, and you're not going to convince somebody else, whatever. And I mean, people that say you shouldn't talk about your stories have no stories to tell, and they're the ones at the bar getting drunk, pissed off that someone else has a story. But you got to stop caring. And just the realization, the only reason that I shot bin Laden was because there was a guy in front of me who was braver than I was, that went up the stairs first, and he went right, or he went straight and I went right, and that's it. And it really doesn't bother. It's hard. There was two people that saw what happened, and one of us is dead. That's Osama bin Laden. And I can't convince people. I don't care. You got to stop caring again about something you can't change. But I mean, the only thing that really gets to me is who doesn't get credit is the air crew. The guys that put their butts on the seats on the helicopters that we flew into Pakistan, that if a missile hit us, they would be just as dead. But their job was to keep the plane flying and open the door. And it's the pilots that flew us in. The pilots, it's the women that found bin Laden. I was smart enough to carry a sledgehammer and go to where the woman Maya told me to go. That's it. I mean, I'm to the point now where if someone says you didn't kill bin Laden, I'm like, great. Then stop following me on Twitter. I don't care. Well, I think give some respect to the people that got us there. Yeah, we do this every night. I fly every single night. I fly somewhere. I go in a house and I kill bad guys and I leave. I don't really care. But the respect needs to be given to the people behind the scenes.
Well, I think the advice really is, it's the truth about your brother-in-law, about your critics. You know the truth, and stop caring about it. That's how you deal with what's all that criticism that you get for what you do in life.
Let it go. Let it go.
Whoever you are.
It is. They trained us early on at SEAL Team 6 for the training to get there, where we would go through training and they would punish you for mistakes that you didn't make and they knew you didn't make. And they wanted to see how you handle making a mistake that we all know you didn't make. And then as soon as you get punished, I'm not talking getting punished like tire drags, body armor, rope climbs. As soon as you're done, they put you right back in front of the training again to see how you handle it. We know you didn't screw up, but we just punished you for screwing up. Can you get over it? And great advice in life. Listen to me right now. Whatever it is, get over it. That's it. That's life. Get over it.
Well, we all wish it was that simple, and for a lot of guys coming out of combat, and certainly in the way forward, Dakota talks about his struggles, and Rob O'Neill, who we're talking to, you talk about some of your post-deployment struggles with undiagnosed PTSD, challenges with the VA, anxiety issues, jealousy issues. Let's not leave the impression that everything was rosy. You retired in 2012 and everything was rosy. Can you talk to us about that transition a little bit and how you got to the point where you can live with, hey, I just get over it and I'm fine with it?
Oh, I haven't. I haven't gotten there myself yet, and that's not all I'm saying. I'm saying it's a great theory, and I give myself my own advice every single day. It's hard. It's a hard transition. You're gonna screw up. Your demons will revisit you. You're gonna have that problem. You're gonna have a bad day. You're gonna have a series of bad days. But the key, I think, is admitting you're having a bad day. And then what I always tell people, I learned this in Hell Week in 1996 in Bud's class 208. If you're having a bad day, call someone. If you're having a good day, call someone because they might be having a bad day. Just admit you're having a bad day. And when you screw up, which you will, and I do all the time, I screw up every single day. Then I call someone and just admit it. It's as simple as a phone call. Yes, it's simple. Yes, it's easy to say. It's simple, but you're going to screw up. You're going to slip up, and learn from it. Call someone. Call your mom. Call your dad. If you don't have a mom and dad anymore, call a relative. Call a friend, and then try to learn from it. And there's, nobody's perfect. If anyone's perfect, I don't want to hear from them. The only one who's perfect is the Lord.
Right. Yep.
I'm not going to try to compare to he or she or Virgin Mary or anything like that. You're going to have a bad day, and pick yourself up, dust yourself off, admit something went sideways, and then move forward. That's why we call it the way forward, because that's it. I mean, we wrote the book. We've been writing the book for 3 years. I've screwed up since then. I've screwed up in front of people. I've had bad days drinking, and I've sought help, called friends, and I'm just, I try to get on with it. That's all you can do. But just don't succumb to it. But it is simple. Ask a friend. That's it.
Well, one of the things that, as I say, you write on and Dakota writes on as well is that, hey, you do have to ask for some help. And a psychologist in particular, he gives a lot of props to Captain Katie Coop. And you sort of think of, I think it's easy for people to look at, heroes and tough guys like Rob O'Neill and Dakota Meyer and say, well, man, they never asked anybody for any help. They were, they're Iron Men, and really you got to ask for help, don't you?
Oh, yeah. And there's another one of my favorite quotes is never meet your hero, because you'll be let down, because everyone's normal. We're all the same. There are very, very few people that stand out as being the top 1%. We're all normal. We're all human. We all make mistakes. And do your best to ask someone to help you get over it. And like after this conversation today, I'm gonna screw up probably today or tomorrow, and I'm gonna ask for help. I'm gonna get over it. I'm gonna try to learn from your mistakes. We very rarely learn from success. We learn from failure, and that's what life is. Life is a series of failures with the occasional great moment. That's about it.
Let me bring you back around as we come to closing out to Butte, Montana, which is a beautiful place if you like the outdoors and everything associated with that. And as you think back and think, well, there's some young kid right now in Butte, Montana. Would you be recommending to him if he asked you, hey, should I go into the military? What is that something I should do?
The best advice I would give to a young man or a young boy or girl, actually, that wants to get in the military, I would say the best advice is get straight A's, get accepted to an academy, and learn how to fly something. Seriously.
But don't join the Air Force, right?
No, the Air Force is great. I love the Air Force. Just don't. I mean, the stuff in the swamp looks cool. It's not cool. Just fly something. fly a helicopter, fly a jet, be Maverick or a Goose. Don't do this nonsense that I did because I got dumped by a girl.
Well, it's also interesting though that you say go get that education, right? That wasn't something that really fit your profile at that point in time.
I was actually in college and I was going to get an MBA and work with my father, and then I just left. And that's how a lot of veterans did it. They just joined the military. But the honest advice, other than flying, which I'm very serious about, is if you want to enlist, get your degree first, then enlist. And you can always go to OCS. Get that degree, keep that behind you, and it's always always a step up. You can get your education, and always don't trust everything.
Right. Don't trust everything the recruiter tells you. Yeah, that's
no, because the recruiter's going to lie to you, which is weird. I remember standing in front of that recruiter at 19 years old in Butte, Montana, like, I don't know what a Navy SEAL is, but this guy's a professional recruiter. Why is he going to lie to me? He was lying.
Well, there's a lot of life after you get out of the military. Sometimes you just got to keep going 1 foot in front of the other, the way forward.
That's it. Keep it forward.
And Dakota Meyer moved on and is working as an EMT, which I think is just a cool thing. And you guys wrote a great book. It took 3 years, as you say, but this is a great book, and we recommend it to folks. You're laughing about the crayons we talked about earlier.
I'm laughing because I wrote a book with a Marine, and someone asked us the other day, we gave a speech on stage, and someone said, well, how can I tell which part is yours, Dakota? And he said, I wrote mine slower.
Well, it sounds like...
That's another point, too, is never, ever lose your sense of humor. Some of the darkest moments bring the best humor. Misery loves company. Don't be afraid to take a step back and just laugh, because none of us are getting out of this alive anyway.
Well, I really appreciate, Rob O'Neill, you spending some time with Veterans Radio today to talk about the way forward and to pass on some life lessons that your career has helped forge for you. And as I said at the outset, this is a great read. I really recommend it to folks. It's a great read. I appreciate your time. It's awesome. Thank you. You got it. Thanks, Rob. Sure.
And I want to thank everybody for listening to Veterans Radio today. I am Jim Faussone. It's been a pleasure to be your host. I'm a veterans disability lawyer at Legal Help for Veterans, and you can reach us at 800-693-4800 or legalhelpforveterans.com on the web. You can follow Veterans Radio on Facebook and listen to its podcasts and internet radio shows by going to veteransradio.net. And until next time, you are dismissed.
If you have a VA claim denied by the Board of Veterans' Appeals, contact Legal Help for Veterans at 1-800-693-4800. They're experts in handling cases before the U.S. Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims. Their number again, 1-800-693-4800.
We again want to thank our national sponsors, the National Veterans Business Development Council, NVBDC.org, VA Ann Arbor Health Care System, the Vietnam Veterans of America Charles S. Kettles Chapter, Ann Arbor, Michigan, VFW Graf O'Hara Post 423 in Ann Arbor, and the American Legion Press Corn Post 46, also in Ann Arbor, and the Veterans Lending Council, which advises lenders, realtors, buyers about VA home loan program, and you can find them on Facebook. We appreciate all your support. You can go to veteransradio.net, click on the sponsor level, and continue to support keeping Veterans Radio on the air. And until next time, you are dismissed.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.